I didn't want to make a video like this, is something people say a lot on YouTube, but I feel like most of them don't really mean it. It's usually just a ploy to get views, but in this case, I never wanted to make a video about my health issues. In fact, I've gone through measures to make sure over the past 2 years of this channel, I never mentioned them and people didn't know about them. Whether that means that, like, granted videos for a couple weeks when I was sick, or I used certain camera angles so I didn't look as skinny. However, as things got worse, I mentioned it on YouTube and I posted about it on Instagram with updates. And I know that not all of you guys have Instagram, so I feel like I owe you guys an explanation on here. I'm going to keep this as short as possible. I'm not going to get all emotional and detailed, but basically, since I was 16, I've had some pretty serious health issues involving my stomach and immune system. In fact, when I first got sick when I was 16, I lost 70 pounds and had to drop out of high school, miss a year of high school, and my life really hasn't been the same since. In the 6 years, I can only eat about 6 foods. Over the past 6 years, my health and weight fluctuated a ton. I would go from being 230 pounds and really strong and in shape, and then I would lose 50 pounds, 60 pounds of muscle, and be very, very, very sick. I couldn't eat for weeks at a time. And this sort of thing would happen 2 to 3 times per year. In fact, if you watch the channel really closely, you can tell, especially in the past 2 years, in some videos I'm really strong and in shape, being very healthy, and then boom, I'll just drop 40, 50 pounds just like that. Like I said, this caused me to drop out of high school and miss an entire year in the hospital and at home, being very, very sick. And then as I got to college, it's gotten worse at times, where I had to miss an entire semester of college dropout, and high school dropout right here. And every semester I've had issues with, losing 30 pounds, getting it back, missing weeks of class, not being able to eat for weeks at a time. And towards the end of 2018, it got especially bad. Things got even worse towards Christmas. The ASMR video was the last video I made for this channel besides the most recent one. And I filmed that like 2 weeks before it was actually posted because I was getting so sick, and I was making videos ahead of time when I was feeling okay. But my family and I decided that with me trying to graduate college in May, I can't live like this in the real world. Like, in school, you can miss weeks of class and make up your work, but when you have to have a job once you graduate college, like a real job, you can't skip 2 weeks of work because you can't eat food. So we wanted to have the surgery done that would have a 91% chance of success in fixing me. So we fly down to Texas, and it was starting to hit me like, this is a monumental day in my life. Whenever I go in for that surgery, it's going to be monumental because it's a 91% chance that after 6 years of really being sick that I might actually get better. So I was like, I should maybe let people know, because you guys know I'm a Christian. I believe in the power of prayer, to let people know so they could pray for me. And, really that I just really had high hopes that this was it. I was going to get better and this would work. So I go in for surgery January 10th. At the time, I hadn't ate for about 9 or 10 days. I go under, and when I came back out, immense pain. It felt like someone had torn apart my insides. Everything hurt so much, and that was not the normal reaction to the surgery. The next 11 days after the surgery, I could really only describe as a complete nightmare. I spent those 11 days after the surgery, and I really in my life have never experienced how much pain I was in during that time after the surgery, and it didn't stop. I couldn't sleep because I was in so much pain. I couldn't move out of my bed. I couldn't walk. Even shifting positions in like a hospital bed or the bed at the hotel right by the hospital would cause massive flares of pain. I couldn't hold down water. I remember my parents were like, if you don't drink water, you got to go to the hospital and get an IV. And I was in so much pain, I didn't even want to be transferred to the hospital. So I would pour water out of my water bottle when they weren't looking, so it would make it look like I was drinking more water than I was. It was just a complete nightmare of pain, and it was crushing because really had this hope that I would get better. The surgery was 91% effective, and yet here I am life destroyed. I know I can't go back to school like this. I can't even get out of bed. I couldn't get off onto a plane to get back home, even because my body was so broken at the time. I couldn't even ride in a plane. It was also during this time, my new semester at school started January 14th. I got the surgery January 10th. That my school called and was like, if you don't get here by January 24th, we're dropping you. You're going to have to be withdrawal because you can't miss the first 2 weeks of class. So this 11 days was happening. I'm not only in this extreme pain, but I'm devastated because I know that I'm not going to be able to graduate in May because I'm not going to be able to get to school. I can't believe it's just a complete nightmare. When you have all that hope built up that this surgery is going to work 91% effective, you're going to get better, and then it just is a complete train wreck of everything. I know that I'm just completely devastated. I'm not going to be able to graduate school in May. It's just everything is coming down on you at once, and that's when your hope is completely removed, and at that point, you're completely hopeless. That 11-day span was by far the hardest time of my life, and that includes all the other stuff that happened during the 6 years of this illness since I was 16. And it's during that time when I basically know that I'm not gonna be able to graduate college on time. I'm dehydrated to an extreme amount. I'm extremely sleep deprived. I haven't ate food in 11 days, and over the course of a month I've only had like 4 meals in about a month's time. And it's during those times when you really start to feel hopeless because you had all that hope built up, and it just gets torn down. And it's really at those times when you're like just trying to get through the next moment. And there was this sermon that I saw that was talking about having faith in God, and it was like sometimes if you're hanging on by a thread is all God needs. What's so miraculous, and it really is kind of hard for me to process at this point because it's all so new, is that kind of the exact moment that I would say I was like completely hopeless and completely lost my hope was when everything turned around. My doctor maintained the whole time when I was going through this trauma that, this is happening because you've been sick for 6 years. Once your body is calming down and the trauma from the surgery is over, once you calm down, the effects of the surgery will take place. And that is kind of exactly what happened. Once that 11-day period that I'm talking about passed, I went from not being able to sleep, and then one night I slept the whole night through, and I woke up the next day feeling incredible. And in the course of 48 hours, I went from not being able to drink, eat, sleep, being pushed around in a wheelchair. I spent an entire day in the emergency room. In the span of 48 hours, I was almost completely better. And since that day, around January 21st, that time frame, I have been steadily getting better every single day. And it's been just incredible to experience. As of now, I'm back at school. I'm able to attend school, which I never thought that I would even be able to turn around quick enough to get back for January 24th when my school said I had to be there or I'd get kicked out. And I made it back. The surgery worked. It was delayed, but it worked. I'm not out of the woods yet because the recovery time for the surgery is 2 months, and it's going to take those 2 months to see if I am fully healed and if I'll be able to eat normal foods again. Like I said, I'm not going to get emotional in this, but just being able to sit here in front of the camera, pain-free, I can move, I can walk, I can almost run. I'm feeling so good. I'm excited for each day because I know tomorrow I'm going to feel even better. And that's where I am now. It's really exciting. For the first time in a long time, it really does feel like there's a light at the end of the tunnel. One thing I do have to say though is during this whole YouTube journey, Rise Magic, Grant and I have wondered at times, especially because our channel is so focused on a niche topic like cardistry and magic, like, do people care? And I don't mean that in a depressing way, but like when you're spending all this time making videos week by week It's like you'll get no views on some videos, then you'll get a huge spike in views, and then you'll be back to getting no views, and you're like, do people actually care about what we're making? Like, if we were to stop, would anyone care? I definitely know the answer to that now. You guys were, I don't even know how to talk about or explain it without getting emotional. I received thousands of DMs and hundreds of comments on YouTube and Instagram from people all over the world letting me know that they care and that they're thinking about me and that they're praying for me. I had people from all over the world who never have met me in real life telling me that, hey, I prayed for you at church today, or my whole family is thinking about you, or I told my prayer group at school today to pray for you and what you're going through. It really was a humbling experience. I seriously screenshotted pretty much every single DM that was sent to me during this time. You guys turned into something more than subscribers or followers. And I really can't thank you enough for treating me like someone that was your own family when I'm just someone on YouTube you've never met. It was incredible. At this point, by the time you're watching this video, I have replied to every single DM sent. I really can't thank you guys enough. It did take me a while to reply because I was putting it off because it made me emotional every time I was like opening up new messages and see these paragraphs of just encouragement and love, and it was something else. I really can't explain it, but that's pretty much it. That's the update on my health. I know that since I have let the cat out of the box and talked about it here on YouTube, I'll try and keep you guys as updated as I can, because like I said, I'm not really out of the woods yet. There still might be some bumps in the road over the next 2 months as I continue to get better, but I am just so thankful to be back, to be able to live pain-free, to be improving every day, back here doing what I love. So thank you guys for that, and I'll see you soon. Love you guys.